Hi everyone, welcome to SportsKhabri. With me is Adi, and we're here to discuss the India Sri Lanka series, the T20 series. It's come to a close. India winning this 3-0. But Adi, I think it's fair to say, dude, like it wasn't any easy 3-0 victory by any means. I think the first T20, Sri Lanka gave India a run for their money. The second one was cut short on DLS. I would have really enjoyed to see to see India chase that if the entire game was played, because that was a slightly sort of deteriorated wicket and there would have been some turn on it. And the third game, it proved to be really challenging because of the amount of turn that pitch had in it. So I think overall pretty interesting series. A lot of interesting calls that India have made. Let's start off. I mean, I'm just going to point out a couple of calls that really sort of stood out to me. I think Riyan Parag and Rinku Singh both playing every game. I think it shows me that the management are looking at both and they're probably going to see who the better of the two is, and they'll give one of the two a sure shot slot. I don't think that balance will be like this in other competitions, because they were in Sri Lanka, you had the luxury of playing just two seamers and then Hardik Pandya as your third seamer. India went with mostly with Mohammad Siraj and Arshdeep Singh, gave Khalil a game. But yeah, they had the luxury of playing a little more sort of all-round friendly team. They had Washington, they had Aksar, they had Ravi Bishnoi, and yeah, a bunch of other part-timers, which we'll get to as well. So yeah, I think it was interesting to see Rian and Rinku off the bat. That's my first observation. Yeah, what are you taking away from the series? So my first take is, bro, I think they're looking at both. They're going to see who's going to do better in the long run. And for me, I think this time around, it's hard to choose between the two. What about you?
Yeah, dude, when it comes to Ringo and Parag, I feel like it was a series where they could experiment it a bit more in terms of,
Hmm.
uh, what they would like to see from these two. I mean, I think we saw a bit of both, fairly. Ringo had his chance, Parag also had his chance. Both of them only batted two games, and out of the three, and Rinku with the bat, he was not there in this time, in terms of scored single digits
Yeah.
scores both games, 1-1. And Parag had a good game in the second game, right? He had a
On
pretty
a tough
decent.
wicket, on a tough wicket. So I think that's
Yeah.
you have to
And
mention.
in a tough situation, he came, he scored 26 runs.
Yeah.
And him and Hardik Pandya during that time played a decent innings. So in terms of that, you see, I think it's too tough for anyone to, decide what it can be through this one series. But Parag did come handy with the ball also. I think that would give him an edge in terms of if it just comes down to, situations. I think Parag, he bowled very well. I mean, the amount of turn he was getting, it was insane, right?
Yeah,
Even the
yeah.
pitch aided that for sure, but like the quality of him being able to ball that situation and ball and get 3 wickets in the in the second game, etc. Like I think that gives him an edge in terms of if you're only purely talking about the series when both of them had a fair chance. Rinko really came up short, compared to Parag. But I think in the future, I think it's going to be one of these two. I don't think both of them will end up playing,
Yeah.
both, in the same team. For me personally, balance wise, I wouldn't do that anyways. I would, get another. I still think looking this entire series, I still think India. If Sky, no, that's the thing. In the top three, if Sky is not going to be a sure shot number three, sometimes he can come number four, right? He came number three in the first game, then he came number four in the second and third game. So if we don't have a so sure shot, number three. I mean, looking at Punt, he played the first game. I was not that impressed with Punt in the first game. He did score, 49 runs, but it was a very slow 49 runs compared to the other players, the way they scored in that first game, right? I would still see if someone else can be replacing Punt in the number three spot, at least me personally.
Mm.
Because dude, I don't know why, looking at him bat, I've realized this guy can't move his feet much. And we were talking about
Yeah, he
how
never has, but yeah,
he's
yeah,
never
that's
has, but bro, I think after the injury, it's been even worse. Like the number of times he just stands in his crease to play, it's like insane. Like it was more than he used to before. I mean, before his punt was very flexible and he used to be able to, play around. But right now, he looks very stiff. And as a number three, I would rather have a guy who would come and, start the game off very quick. That's my point because I would love to see the likes of Abhishek Sharma given a chance at number three than punt because of the fact that we need a guy who can play number three. Then we played Samson. He got ducked both games. I think that number three spot is still up there for grabs. If
mm.
punt, at least I'm not convinced with Pant the way he's going to bat that number three spot. He was very good for India, very useful for India in the T20 World Cup, but it was aided by the pitches and the conditions there. It was a very slow pitch. Everyone scored slowly, so it got masked out. Pant being able to play slowly was a benefit for him. But I think if you're going to other places where it's going to be good tracks to hit and you want quick runs, I wouldn't put Pant number three, at least personally.
Fair enough.
But
Fair
apart from
enough.
that, yeah, I think India, dude, with this series, I don't know, bro. Like I still think it was a very close, tough battle. I think it was more of, unfortunately, from my point of view, it was like I don't know what it was. Was it India being able to fight
Bro, I think
back?
Sri Lanka, like when
Yeah,
they were in good positions, they really just threw it away and
bro,
multiple occasions.
all three games, bro.
All
All
three
that,
games, yeah.
all three games, apart from the top three, no one else batted. For
Bro, I don't know
example.
why Hasaranga is even in this team, but yeah. I
But
mean, for his
see,
batting.
Asaranga as a bowler, he's
Yeah, yeah.
very,
As
he's
an all
been.
rounder,
I'll
batting,
give you, bro. I'll
whatever.
tell you, like the top three, right? Nisanka, Mendes and Kushal Pereira. The top
Yeah.
three had a consistent number of scores. So these top three scored like 354 runs in the three matches, right? Then the next four batsmen, who are in the same series playing, it was Mendes, Asalanka, Asaranga and Shanaka. They scored 60 runs in the three games
No, it's
total.
crazy. It's
60
crazy
runs
also, bro.
total. Yeah.
I'm expecting at least okay, bro. I don't expect anything from Hasaranga honestly with the bat, but I'm expecting a little more from Hasalanka because we've seen that he's capable in the past, and yeah, I don't know, it just didn't happen
And
for
he's
him
a
as well.
captain. Mind
He's
you,
the
he's
captain.
become the captain. And one
True,
more thing with
exactly.
Sri
So he's also
Lanka,
the
bro.
captain.
Yeah, every series they have one new captain. Every 2 months they have a new captain. I think like with Sri Lanka, it's kind of sad to see because for me, Sri Lanka was. I always had a soft spot for Sri Lanka because they had for a very long time they had such a good squad and they had very likable players. Kumar Sangakkara, Dilshan, Muralidharan, Malinga. They had such a good team to what they've gone to. And even these three matches, I think the first match they could have won it. They were on the run rate wise, they were going to win. They were 140 for one in 14 overs, right? They needed around 60, 70 runs to win, 70 odd runs to win of the last 6 overs with only loss of one wicket, right? And you go to 18th over, they're 166 for seven. They were able to only score 26 runs and lost 6 wickets in the next 4 overs. And this trend continued every game. It was not only the first game, right? You go to
Exactly.
the
That was the problem.
yeah,
Same
then
thing.
the
Same thing. Second game.
last
Great
30 balls.
start.
Exactly. 30 runs of the last 30 balls. Then you
Yeah.
come back to the last game. They needed
Same thing
30 of
again. Yeah.
30 of
Yeah.
30 and they went. I don't understand
Bro, they
how
were
could
ahead of the rate. They were. It was less than run a ball at a
it was
point, less
21
than
of
4 runs.
when Hasaranga got out, when I don't know what Hasaranga was thinking. It was 21 to win or 22 balls.
Exactly. That's
Hasaranga
what.
and they had only lost 2 wickets. I don't know in what mindset Asaranga was. He first of all he's only scored 2 runs this entire series. He got a duck and then 2 runs. In the mindset coming in, he's on. He's only scored 2 runs. I don't know where he's got the confidence to go and try to hit a six. And it was a complete miss shot, top edge, easy catch. Like, and India after that started putting slips and gullies and it was so you have lesser players. It's so much more easy for you to take singles. And the Sri Lankan batsman was still swinging. They were still trying to hit reverse sweep, swing the bat, and some kind of slog shot. And so many times you see the wickets. It was always top edges. They couldn't. We saw the pitch,
Yeah.
right? It was very slow. It was not coming out to the bat. The Indian bowlers were smart, even in the super over. Bishnoi was smart enough to just ball it in the slot because it's very slow. And these guys were picking the shot, but they didn't have enough power to even clear the boundary. Went to super over, same issue. Like I don't understand like what mindset these guys are coming to bat.
Mm.
And this trend has been whenever I see Sri Lanka play against India, it's been there forever. Last five ODI series I've seen they scored 350 runs against India and 170 odd runs against India. They always crumble down. I don't know if it's against India or I don't know what it is with Sri Lanka, bro.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
uh,
Crazy, inexplicable. But from an Indian perspective, I think we got a little bit of a glimpse into what life could be like under Surya Kumar Yadav, and bro, at least and Gautam Gambhir, because I think they're willing to take a couple more risks than usual. So just the
I
fact that
think that's, I think they have that freedom. I think it was Sri Lanka. They can take.
true, but still, dude, like I think for him to say in the last 2 overs of a T20 game to give it to Rinku and Surya based on the conditions, right? There was nothing else. It's not because they wanted to try a
Yeah,
part-time bowler. It was purely based on the conditions. The ball was spinning a mile. And they were like, okay, bro, this is the chance to exploit the conditions. Instead of going quick, let's go with the spinners. And bro, like to be fair, like dude, they're not the best of bowlers. They're going to get hit on another day. But on that day, the conditions demanded it, and they were willing to take that risk. I like to see that in a team at least. Like if you have
but
the
do
opportunity,
you
dude.
think? See, I feel like
Hmm,
this was. See, obviously it's a huge risk to take. I mean, especially Surya and Rinku bowling the last 2 overs when it's very less runs to win. And to be fair, Rinku has a decent arm. He's been bowling for a long time. He can bowl, but I still think. See, I don't know on what perspective it was. Would they do it if it was against Australia and it was a do or die game? That's my
bro,
point, right?
see, my
Like,
thing is, bro,
I
see,
think
like
it
the
was
only
more of a situation. I think they were a bit more like, see, we can risk it all. Even if we lose, it's going to be fine, right? But
no,
I
no,
would,
true. I
yeah.
get that. But my point is, if this was India, say under like in the previous era, that they wouldn't have gone to a part timer, even if it was this situation, right? Like that's what I'm saying. The willingness to take the odd risk. I'm not saying you have to do it in a T20 because the margins are so little, you're going to lose and win based on small margins. Now, if you go to another sort of, say you go to a test series or you go to an ODI game where it's a little longer and probably it's not happening for your main bowlers, the option to sort of turn to somebody like a Rinko or a Surya will become important. I'm not saying that they will do it with the same bowlers in every format, but the fact that Gautam Gambhir is saying, you know what, it's okay, like you can give it to these guys, has been missing in India for a long time. We've not had a part-time bowler in ages, dude. Like back at least, dude, if you go back 2011, 2012, Saurav Ganguly could bowl, Sachin Tendulkar bowl, Virender Sehwag bowl. So in your top five, already you have three bowlers. Whatever. It's not like they have to bowl every game. My point is the fact that you're encouraging non sort of main bowlers to have a bowl and try things is good. I think that is what is encouraging from an Indian perspective because you'll get, I think it becomes a very important part in Test cricket and sometimes in ODI cricket. So the fact that they're willing to try it, I think is a big plus because you see all the countries around the world, they've got batters who can bowl. Joe Root is almost like a sure shot bowler now for England, especially in Test cricket. Same way, Australia, they can turn to Mitch Marsh, they can turn to Cam Green if they need overs.
Even
They can
head.
bowl Maharaj Labuschagne bowls leg spin. Like that's what I'm saying.
Travis
So
Head
we,
was.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like Travis Head also bowls, bro. That options, those options that these other countries have, India have not had for a long time. So I
But
think
we
it's
talking
good.
about again Sky and Rinku. That's what. See, my point is, I appreciated that move of. Even I was surprised when I saw Rinku and Sky bowling the last 2 overs. It paid off well enough. But you're talking about point of like, see, it can trans. Is it going to be a Gambhir thing? Was it Gambhir's call? Was it Sky's call? I don't know. But is it going to translate to Test cricket, ODI cricket? That's something we'll have to see over time because see, the fact is, I always feel like the reason they could do this was because they already won the series 2-0. They were in cruise mode at Sri Lanka. They thought they could put the pressure. The conditions also, needed that, right? But my point is, will they be consistently doing this over time, right? If in another game, in another situation where it's do or die, for example, you're playing against Australia and it's a do or die and it's a big game, would they take the same,
Dude,
decision?
again,
Maybe
yeah.
that's where I would want to see, and then I would like be like, okay, fair enough. This coaching staff, this captain is ready to take those risks at that point of time, right? See, that's something we'll see
Bro,
over time. I feel like it is going to take time for us to see if they're able to take aggressive risks, and and if it pays off. And
so
even yesterday, if it didn't pay off, I still would have appreciated the thought
even
process
me
of
same.
keeping
I
them
would have been like that's the right
because
call.
yeah, because giving someone like Siraj or someone in the end, Khalil Ahmed, someone else, it would generally be what normally you would do. But the point is, they understood the conditions. They could understand that Sri Lanka were not able to pick up the spin at all, the slowness of the track, and then they bowled. Your Rinku and Sky is something I actually appreciated. It worked out at the end of the day. It worked out to an extent, right? And and that's what matters. But for me, it's more of will they be consistent over the
Dude, see, I don't
worry of.
think, I don't think they would say do it against an Australia. Fair enough, because I think the margins are very little in those kind of games. But what I'm
But
saying is, it's
again,
encouraging to see. It's
yeah, yeah,
encouraging to see at least take that risk. At least, dude, because in ODIs and Test cricket, like it'll not, you won't have these kind of insane situations. If you're turning to a six spinner or a fifth bowler, you're going to do it when it's not working for the rest, so you're not in a dire situation. So I think the encouragement for batters to bowl has sort of deteriorated over the years, and now to see
but
that batters are given a chance to bowl is a good thing.
But I think, see, as you said, like I think teams like Australia, England still do it, like to the extent of even South Africa. I think they give a lot of overs to Markram if needed. Same with England, as you said, Joe Root. Even with Australia, I think especially head Ashley is very handy. He bowls a lot when it's needed, right? And you come to India, I don't remember the last time they could have used. The point is with India, I don't even think they have a player who can bowl and bat, right? Virat Kohli to an extent, but he's like apart
No,
from him, I
dude,
don't think.
this is a problem, dude. Like when Rohit Sharma started his career, he was very much a bowl. He could bowl. I've seen
Yeah,
Rohit Sharma bowl so much in his early days.
he used the
And then
ball
his
in
brother
T20
stopped.
also. Yeah,
Yeah, bro. Then he stopped like completely. Virat Kohli used to bowl. Although he used to get hit around the park, like sometimes you just don't know. Like these things pay off.
yeah.
It's just about taking a gamble. It's not about, we're not expecting them to bowl six balls on the money or anything like that. It's just about trying something different, and works. It works, dude. Like that's pretty much, I think, how I've looked at part-time bowling. But yeah, dude, it's interesting. But yeah, that's what it was. The T20 series. Yeah, we're all set for the ODIs. It's going to be another intriguing sort of series for India, because it looks like this Sri Lanka team can really give India a go.
I was looking at the last five ODIs India have played Sri Lanka, like just to
Hmm.
see like comparison because I remember last three games that they've scored like 50-50-50. So like the last five ODIs, guess how many runs Sri Lanka have scored against India? Like just take a guess.
No,
Five
see,
matches.
because this
Five
just
matches,
has a,
50 overs.
bro, because this has the 59 all out. Obviously, that will be one of the games.
Just
So
take a guess. Wild guess.
not more than 500 runs.
Is literally 565 runs
Oh
in
God.
five ODI games. Compare that on an average of 113 runs per ODI. And
Yeah,
they've
that's
gotten all out
crazy.
against India all five games. All five games, they've not survived the 50 overs. And same thing for India, they've scored around 12,000 runs in the same five games.
Yeah,
And the
that's
reason it's only
insane.
12,000 is because two, three times they got all out for like 50 runs, 55 runs. Bro, that's insane because looking at Sri Lanka, struggling to score, and three times they scored below 100, 73, 50, and 55 out of the five ODIs. And this is just the last five ODI games. So looking at that and looking at how Sri Lanka batted this series in the T20, I think if the top three don't fire up, I don't know what Sri Lanka is up to,
Yeah.
again.
It's going to be fun. I mean, I just like the look of this series because of the wickets they're producing as well. So yeah, guys, that's next. The ODI series is going to get underway between India and Sri Lanka. Before that, after that, India, I think, are set to face Bangladesh. So get set for that. The first ODI kicks off on Friday, so you can catch that as well live. Three-match ODI series. Looking forward to it. Thanks everyone for joining. Please like and share the videos. Subscribe to SportsKhabri, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.